I was a philosophy major. I can go to the butcher, prove the meat doesn't exist. It just... I spit on education for women. That's
Why do you say that?
Because it does. If
curse?
all woman needs a pretty face and a trick pelvis, and she's home free. I am telling you. Brains don't count. Nobody ever asked Eleanor Roosevelt to dance. Remember that. That's
Through that period of time, though, when the phone isn't ringing, and I always feel this is true, that it's hard sometimes to tell who your real friends are until you really need them. How do you tell?
The one that calls.
That's what I'm saying, during that period of time.
Yeah, but you should never delude yourself in our business, or in any business. When you're hot, everybody wants to sit next to you. It was a shock for Melissa. There's a restaurant that we were going to for 15 years in L.A., and there's like the right side and the wrong side of the restaurant. And you never think about it. I was always on the right side and the right 4 tables. And the day after I was fired from Fox, we all went out to dinner that night, and they put us in the wrong section. And Missy just said, "We're in the wrong section." And I said, "Yeah, I know. Just sit down and eat here, you know." And oh, you just have to know that's the business. I said, "It's okay, Melissa. We'll sit on the." But we never went back. We never went back. And they didn't miss us. But I don't want to name the restaurant, but I'll give you a hint.
Anybody who's been in this business has been through that and knows it. Yeah. I mean, there are always the ups and the downs.
The only difference with show business is the rewards are incredible when they're rewards. But boy, when it's over with, it's like quicksand. Oh, sure. How much can I sell those for?
No matter. These are for you.
Oh,
I'd give you a kiss, but I don't want you to get that flow. Joan.
That's great, thank you.
I will kneel at your feet. Oh, thank you so much.
There's a card. It says, "Love from Regis."
My next guest is one of my favorite people and one of our favorite comedians. He's a national treasure, and his comedy does more than just make you laugh. It makes you think. It touches you in your heart. It touches you in your mind. But this morning, we're going to be talking about the events and the people who helped create the comedy of Jackie Mason. He's written a new book called Jackie Oi. Not Jackie O, Jackie Oi. Jackie Mason, From Birth to Rebirth. And it's the story of a comedian's survival and his success. Please welcome a national treasure to People Are Talking, Jackie Mason. So how was I? Did I say it just the way you wrote it?
Thank you, thank you. God bless you.
Do you want to sit or stand?
Thank you. I was just listening to this whole introduction. It's a very, very touching introduction. I thought there was going to be somebody else come out here.
What do you think about that
statement? I couldn't wait to hear what this guy is going to be.
Do you have to suffer to be funny?
I'll be honest with you. I really think you don't have to suffer to be funny. I don't think suffering helps you to be funny. Do you know a lot of people say that it helps to be miserable in order to enjoy happiness? It helps to go through all kinds of misery in order to become successful or to appreciate success. You can't appreciate it unless you suffer. It's stupid. Somebody gave you $10 million. You say, first I want to suffer before I take it. You'll be glad to see it. You will say, let me suffer first so I'll appreciate it.
Were you happier, though, when you were struggling, when you went through those years of struggle, or now that you're a success and everybody goes, Jackie, we love you, and they come up and they...
I've heard a lot of times about people who can't handle success, so when they become successful, they become miserable from success, and they can't handle it, they fall apart, they want to jump out of windows, commit suicide. I don't know of a person like this. I don't know what the reason for it is. I can't understand why happiness creates misery and money creates hate and tremendous success creates disturbances. I don't know why. Or you give a person a better home to live in and a better mattress, and you give him a girlfriend for nothing. And all of a sudden he tells you how miserable he is because he's so happy. I don't know why.
But didn't you have more time to spend on your life when, you know, what you could sleep late?
More time, but the time was spent in deprivation and misery and feeling left out, going nowhere, accomplishing nothing. I don't see anything so fantastic about it. I never understood why people can't appreciate success. You should thank God that you could become successful, and you should revel in it and enjoy it and see what you could do to help other people because of it, and enjoy life and help other people live better, because everything is on your side. And how could you resent success if that's what you fight for all your life? People fight to become successful, to become a star. And as soon as they become a star, they can't get over what a big star they are, they start hiding from people. And you say to yourself, why is this guy hiding? He was fighting for attention. If he wanted to avoid attention, why didn't he become a plumber? You hang around a toilet and nobody will bother you.
You want to sit down or you want to sit? Have a seat. But one of the things in your life is that in your family, and especially your father, opposed your move into show business. Your father wanted you to be a rabbi? He wanted you to be...
My father wanted me to be a rabbi because I come from a very, very long lineage of rabbis. Throughout the history of the background of my family tree, everybody was a rabbi if you go back 10,000 years. You can't find anybody that was not a rabbi.
What happened to you?
Everybody's wife became a rabbi, their children became rabbis. If a cat walked in, they started to study how to be a rabbi. They couldn't avoid being a rabbi. If you were alive, you had to be a rabbi. And if you turned it down, you were considered like a Nazi. What are you doing not being a rabbi? It was impossible to live in my family without being a rabbi. So I knew that that was, to my father, the only way to live, and it was the holiest thing on this earth to him. And I had 3 brothers before me who all became rabbis. It's all in the book. So then, as the 4th son, my father waited for me to become a rabbi. I couldn't look at my father and tell him I would not be a rabbi. I knew it would shatter his whole life. If that's all you live for and you think it's holy and you think there's no other way to live, it's like a king in England waiting for the son to take over the kingdom. And instead he says, I'd rather be in Philadelphia hanging around with a few bros.
In the book, there's one very dramatic incident you relate about one night where your father became violent with you because he felt that you were wasting your life and not pursuing something that was worthwhile.
Right, right.
What happened on that night?
My father was, that was one of the most, probably the most dramatic moment in my relationship with my father. That was the most overwhelming, overpowering ordeal that I ever went through in my whole life in terms of my relationship with him. Because
how old were you then?
I was like about 11, 12 years old. And my father kept telling me that I should study to be a rabbi and keep studying. In a religious Orthodox family where you're supposed to, where scholarship and study towards the rabbinate is the only thing you have a right to live for, becomes almost like a monastery, where your whole life is just dedicated to it from morning to night. That's all you do is study towards it.
Did you say something that set him off?
And I was getting nauseous from this whole experience. And I really disliked it because I felt like a prisoner, or even though everybody else around my family was dedicated to it. I kept sneaking out of the house, running around with different kids that were not religious and trying to see what else is going on every place else in the world. And as I was starting to have some fun, I was watching them play pool in the pool room, and I would hang around the candy store, watch them arguing about communism, and then I'd go to the next corner and see if they're playing baseball. And I was beginning to enjoy the outside life. I was beginning to notice that outside of my house, you could have a lot of fun. This place is like this place looked like a prison to me. I said, this place is nothing compared to the rest of the world. There's some way to get out of here. And my father would periodically catch me running out. I would pretend I was going to a yeshiva to study, or I was going to school with books. I kept lying and maneuvering around my father because I didn't want to hurt him or bear the consequences of what might happen if he found out I wasn't that religious or that studious. I knew that it would either hurt him or he would wipe me out, one or the other.
So on this particular...
So I said to myself, I better not get caught running around, and I kept doing it all the time. Then one day I was home and my father said to me, it's time to study. And I had it up to here, I couldn't take it anymore. I said to myself, this is choking me to death here. I felt like